All right, 1.4, the last years of the Harvey-Armana regime. Going to be going through here, just like I've done in the previous couple sections, explaining kind of the key different events and the stuff you need to understand. First and foremost, the whole Civil War and stuff is going to be starting in October of 1990. This is really what's going to start it, so make sure you do understand that. And then Harvey-Armana is going to try to present itself as a unifying force against an external enemy. So we are the ones who are inside the country. We're controlling Rwanda. We've been controlling Rwanda. We are going to be this unifying force. He's also going to be encouraging the concept of a superior Hutu identity, which is obviously going to be causing problems, particularly for the Tutsi, because they're not going to be liking this, which they're already really not very happy with him, but this is just going to make it a little bit worse. This is going to be a way of appeasing, to a point, the Hutu extremist as well. So that's definitely going to be something he is going to be trying to take advantage of right through there. On the RPF, then the Rwandan Patriotic Front, led by Paul Kagame, they're going to lead their invasion. This is going to cause some concern from abroad. Countries outside of Rwanda and not directly impacted by the conflict are going to see this, and they're going to be a little bit worried about what might be happening, because they're realizing that this could really escalate. Remember, this is happening in the 90s. There's been a lot going on in the world at this time. The Soviet Union is breaking up, Eastern Europe is falling apart, and they're kind of afraid of what this might ultimately lead to. Also trying to figure out who is the legitimate government in this situation. What's going on, like how are we going to basically keep this from escalating into a major crisis. The RPF initial invasion, though, is going to fail. Kagame is going to go. He's going to consolidate his individuals, he's going to consolidate his group of soldiers, his ragtag army of less than 2,000 men, to a army of 15,000 men. So he is going to be a very effective military leader, consolidating everyone together. Kagame, as you need to know, trained by the United States, so he's got some good military training in him. And he knows how to fight. He's going to use the tactics of guerrilla warfare to defeat the Hutu regime. So he is not going to be using necessarily a traditional fighting force. He's going to be using that guerrilla warfare. So hiding, ambush attacks, similar to what the Vietnamese used during the Vietnam War, or similar to what the Afghanis were using during the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in the 80s. So right through there. Okay, looking right here, this is simply a precursor to what is going to happen. Ooh, why is it blue? Okay, hundreds are massacred by many of their own neighbors and the government forces. So initially, this is starting to get violent even from the start, and this is really a precursor of what is about to be happening. Also, do take note of patterns. Okay, you're going to be seeing patterns consistently when we're talking about Rwanda, particularly in this unit. So make sure you are kind of tracking these different patterns of what's happening. And understanding how they're going to have really a cause and effect. Rwanda was seen since colonial times, one group being favored over the other. Okay, so the Tutsi and the Hutu, one group having more power, being treated better than the other group. We know about the Belgians, how the Belgians exploited this, and how this is going to really set the stage for crisis, set the stage for conflict. Self-defense groups have been used since 1963 to aid civilian security, so we've already got individuals sort of like quasi-malicious sort of things, but then in 1990 this is going to be getting much larger scale. So the situation of these little individual groups of civilian security are going to be escalating. Now when you're going to be escalating something like this, the violence is bound to increase. Now if we're moving down in here, so in December of 1991, the rebels are advancing, so the RPF is advancing. The Hutu government in Kigali, the capital, is going to meet, and they're going to determine a policy, like basically, what do we do? Harvey-Armana, at this point, his power has eroded. He is no longer, he's still in power, but he does not have as much power within his own government. So he's going to be forced to give way to the Hutu hardliners. Remember, Harvey-Armana is a Hutu, but he is going to be more middle of the road. He's going to be forced to give way to the Hutu extremist. This situation, the Hutu power movement is going to be developed, which is this real extremist ideology, extremist Hutu ideology movement and group. December 1991, The president's own party is the MRND, so his political party is going to form a youth wing. Okay, so this is going to be a youth wing known as the Interahamwe. Now, this is going to be the group that's ultimately going to go out and do the vast majority of killing during the Rwandan genocide. Now, this can kind of be comparison. A thing that comes to my mind when I'm first reading this is the Hitler Youth, okay, with Hitler in Germany, the youth group of the Nazi Party. This is going to be a similar style of thing right here. December 1991, the Interahamwe are going to be formed, remember, because Habyarimana had to give way to the Hutu extremists and the Hutu hardliners, and they're going to ultimately form this youth group of the Interahamwe. The Interahamwe become the nucleus of Hutu power, and they're like the middle of the power. So the Hutu power is really situated in the Interahamwe, and they're the ones who are going to be responsible for the genocide. Okay, so make sure you know who the Interahamwe are. The word means actually those who work together, as you can see that up here in the blue. Schooling is going to be an instrument of the state to define and strengthening awareness of different ethnic groups. We've talked about this a little bit previously. When the Belgians were involved, and even when after the Belgians left, if you use school, you can really influence a lot of different individuals through school. Okay, children are easy to manipulate. It's easy to control what they think. So they're going to be using schools in order to really strengthen this awareness of the difference between Hutus and Tutsi. The Interahamwe are going to be spread all across the country. They're going to be using military training all across the country. Understanding how to use weapons and explosives, how to use roadblocks, and then how to kill people. You can kind of see the writing on the wall right here when you're understanding the problem of having a bunch of young men, a bunch of young extremist men learning how to kill and being spread throughout the country. The euphemism clear the bush, which is basically get rid of the Tutsi, okay? Go clear the bush. Go clear out that area, get rid of all the weeds and everything in there. Go kill the bush. Clear the bush, go kill the Tutsi. Hutu power movement is going to infiltrate the government, many areas of society, and the ruling class. So there's going to be a lot of this Hutu extremism. It's no longer necessarily going to be kind of the weird odd group in the country. It's going to become more mainstream. We're going to have Network Zero, which is the program of basically getting rid of all the Tutsis. Okay, so we have like the final solution in Nazi Germany to rid the world of Jews. We're going to have Network Zero, which is to rid Rwanda of the Tutsi. Going on right here, we're going to get the Hutu 10 Commandments. Now, the Hutu 10 Commandments are going to be published in Kanguru magazine, which is designed simply to promote Hutu extremism. This is a form of propaganda, as we already understand from the authoritarian states unit. Now, this magazine means wake up. Literally, wake up, see the picture, see what's happening right here. The Tutsi are problematic. We've got to get rid of the Tutsi. This is going to be their propaganda mechanism for spreading this hatred for the Tutsi and really kind of getting the mainstream idea of starting to kill them a lot more mainstream. The magazine is going to be a direct counter to the RPF, which is going to have their own state-sponsored newspaper, having a similar name, okay, Kanguka compared to Kangura. So very, very similar names. They're purposely trying to play off of one another. And this is, from a political standpoint, it is an effective way of doing this, but it's ultimately going to be propaganda. Then we're going to get Habyarimana issue a call for new ideas how to defeat the enemy. His strategy to disseminate racial hatred was given the green light by the government. And then this magazine, Kangura, is going to have an important mouthpiece when it comes to really disseminating this information. It's going to be really all about getting rid of the Tutsi and expanding this belief of Hutu superiority. We're going to get the Hutu 10 Commandments coming in right through here. This is going to be important for a number of things. Number one, remember Rwanda is a heavily Catholic country, okay? Within Christianity, you have the 10 Commandments, so you're going to be building a comparison right here between religious beliefs and your political beliefs. If you can make someone think that your political beliefs justify your religion, people are going to be a lot more willing to follow through with that. So you can see some of the examples right down here. So they're going to really kind of exploit the religious fervence of the Rwandans and use that to justify their political means. This is going to be a reoccurring thing we will see throughout history. people using religion to justify political means. Now, the Hutu power movement is going to have its ideology, which is strikingly similar to Nazi Germany, as I've already made a number of different comparisons. So if you can understand what's going on in Nazi Germany, if you studied Adolf Hitler in the authoritarian states unit, you're going to understand that there's a lot of similarities going on right through here. And that's really a good thing to do, is to build those connections, because it's going to make it a lot easier when it comes time to writing this paper. Here are the Hutus' 10 Commandments. Basically, look at these and understand why are they important. Like what is happening right through here, and kind of understand why they're important. I'm not going to necessarily go through every single one of them right now, but if you have questions, just add that comment down below, and I'm more than happy to get back to you. Some of the primary sources, which we'll be looking at as well. We're going to get RTLM, or Free Radio, which stands for this one right here. This is going to be the arm of the Hutu power movement. This is going to be important because it's going to help communicate information. Virtually everyone's got a radio. It's easy to transmit radio waves. You can transmit them far and long, and make sure you communicate your ideas quickly. And this is going to ultimately play a huge role when it actually comes to disseminating the call to go eliminate the cockroaches, go kill the cockroaches, after the president's plane was crashed, and ultimately starting the genocide. 60% of the population is illiterate, so the newspaper doesn't necessarily work if you can't read, but the radio is important because everyone, for the most part, can hear. They're going to use these closely together, and they're going to all be about inciting ethnic hatred. They're going to publish a list of Tutsi and moderate Hutu who were to be exterminated. So we're not just going to kill the Tutsi, but anyone who's a moderate Hutu who might be sympathetic towards the Tutsi, they need to be killed as well, because they are not on our side. We cannot trust them. Furthermore, this radio broadcast is going to talk about explicitly the cockroaches must be exterminated. Remember, the cockroaches, in this case, they're referring to Tutsi. You kill cockroaches, okay? You get rid of them, you exterminate them. You must do the same. According to this radio station, with the Tutsi. After the actual genocide, the individuals who are running this are going to be charged with genocide and inciting a genocide, and they're going to be complicit in inciting this genocide. So understand the importance of this radio station is huge, okay? When it comes to truly getting the information out. Again, almost every single Rwandan is going to have access to a radio, so it's really easy to get the information out. And as I've already stated, right through here, this is going to be the thing that's ultimately going to start the genocide. We're going to have right through here the MRDNK, the national or the political party of Habyarimana, which is going to be the only legal political party in the country up until 1991. At this point, there's going to be a split within his own party. Between the extremists and the more moderates. The extremists are going to be forming the CDR, the Coalition for the Defense of the Republic. We're going to get right through here. The pressure for a settlement. So this is the Arusha Accords are basically about stopping this crisis. Okay, there's a civil war going on. How do we stop this? How do we make this more peaceful? How do we make this situation better? So we're going to be seeing this right here. Understand the impact of foreign intervention. This whole unit is called conflict and intervention. There is a conflict and there is an outside intervention happening right here. The pressure to stop the civil war was not really coming from Rwanda. It was coming from outside of the country. This is going to show the importance of military success right here. The reason why the RPF has been able to force an agreement is because they were doing very well militarily. The Hutu were the ones in charge of Rwanda at this time. They controlled the government, but the RPF, the Tutsi, coming into the country, are leading a successful military campaign, basically forcing the Hutu to negotiate. And that's going to be happening right through here. Kigali had been... So Kigali right here is the capital. The French are going to be involved in the situation as well. And the French are going to really be supporting the Hutu in this situation. Not necessarily directly, but they're going to play a large indirect role in this crisis right here. And the main reason they're doing this is they want to maintain a Francophone African state, which is just another example of Europeans intervening in Rwanda for their own benefit. Okay. Looking later on, there's going to be a lot of real pushback against the way the French handled the situation, and some actual accusations of the French helping the Hutu extremists. So we're going to reach an agreement right through here between the RPF, which was the Tutsis, and the Habyarimana government. However, during this agreement, the extremists are going to be left out of the picture, and they're going to be incredibly, incredibly upset. They're already upset. There's going to be an agreement reached, and they're not going to be involved in that. So this is going to be giving the Tutsi more power. They also see this as a betrayal by Habyarimana and his more moderate wing of the government, because they're not letting them do what they want to do and killing them. They see the Tutsi as this horrible group that needs to be exterminated, that has oppressed them for such a long time, and Habyarimana now is almost agreeing with them and agreeing to live peacefully with them. They do not see this as good. They see this as problematic, and this is going to lead to a number of different conflicts that we're going to be talking about. Okay. At this time, though, it's important to understand that peace seems within reach. A lot of the world thinks that there is peace that is possible at this time period. The Hutu extremists are obviously hell-bent on going against that, but it does look for the outside world that peace is possible. The extremists, though, are going to ultimately sabotage the accords and make sure that everything does not go the way it planned. So we can see the agreements right through here. The Hutu extremists are basically going to burn the house down because they don't get what they want, and that's ultimately what's going to lead to the genocide. This is going to be the first time the United Nations is going to get involved in the process. Previously, they were not involved. Now the UN is going to get involved. This man right through here, he's Egyptian. He's going to be playing a role in this. Now, ultimately, the United Nations is going to decide to be a traditional peacekeeping mission in Rwanda. That is at least what it looks like from the outside. Once they get into the situation, they're going to realize that this is not going to be this is not going to be a traditional peacekeeping mission. This is going to be completely different. And this is going to be filled with possibilities, but ultimately little promise. There's a lot of possibility of good things happening, but at the end of the day, it's very unlikely. Hutu extremists are going to be considering Habyarimana as betraying them, as I've already talked about, and they're going to see this betrayal as really a death knell for Hutu supremacy. So basically, by him doing this, he has just gotten rid of this belief of Hutu supremacy. Therefore, we've got to do something. It's important to understand the impact of Somalia. Okay, so we have Black Hawk Down, Mogadishu, these different situations going on right before this in 1993, where the United Nations was involved, and it went bad. Okay, it went bad quick. A lot of countries are now going to be afraid to intervene in these foreign affairs, particularly the United States, if it risks their soldiers. Okay, so we're going to hear about Somalia syndrome, which is simply the belief that the United States is not going to send troops into a country and endanger American lives when it's not going to ultimately benefit the United States of America. It might be the moral right thing to do, but at the end of the day, if it's going to risk the lives of an American soldier and they're not going to actually benefit the United States from it, we're simply not going to do it. These soldiers signed up to protect their own country, not to protect other countries. They should not be giving their lives for other individuals in other countries, and that is going to be Somalia syndrome, really summed up right through there. Hutu president, the day that General Dallaire is going to land, okay, he's going to be the leader of the peacekeeping mission. The Tutsi extremists are going to Hutu president, this man right here, Nadaye, is going to be assassinated by Tutsi soldiers. Rwandan Hutu extremists are going to use this to basically just use it to manipulate the cause and get what they want. The Rwandan or the UN peacekeeping mission is really ill-equipped, and they do not have the staff, the equipment to really do what they need to be doing in this situation. Again, on the surface, it looks like a traditional peacekeeping mission. When he gets there, he's going to realize that this is about to get very, very bad. He's going to receive warnings about a series of massacres that are taking place in the country. The Human Rights Watch is going to be involved in this, basically saying that the Hutus are stockpiling weapons all across the country, large number of machetes. This is problematic. Okay, there's something going on. These are like the warning bells should be ringing. He's going to be giving this information during the genocide cable back to the United Nations, basically saying that they've got intent plans on killing all the Hutu, or all the Tutsi, excuse me, and they're going to kill us too if we try to get involved. So we have got to figure something out, carefully orchestrated. So 1,000 people every 20 minutes. He's going to give this information and basically say they're going to kill everyone and they're going to kill us if we try to intervene. We have got to do something now. He's going to seek permission to confiscate the weapons and protect the informant. The United Nations is ultimately going to refuse to allow him to do this, saying it's outside of their limited mandate, and ultimately this is going to be kind of what sets the situation up. So his genocide cable, an important primary source document, make sure you understand that. He's kind of basically saying, here's what's about to happen if we don't get involved now. This is going to get bad. And ultimately, in 1.5, the president's going to be assassinated, and General Dallaire is correct. Questions, comments, put it down below. I will take them, get them from there. Otherwise, hang in there. Good luck.